Morning. Who's watching? Say hi. Morning, everyone. Hi, Anne. Hi, Annette. Yeah, it's a little bit of an impromptu Facebook Live this morning because I wasn't sure if I'd have time, but I thought, well, let's just bite the bullet and then let's just see what happens. So we'll be winging it a little bit. I've done a little bit of prep ahead of time. This is the first time I've done any memory box shows on Hochanda, so I feel quite honoured to have been asked to do it. So I mean, Memory Box, an American company, they've been going for years and years. They're a really well established brand. I think lots and lots of you have already heard of them. Obviously they've been on Hochanda for quite a while now. But this one day special is a winter themed one day special, and there's a little bit of autumn in there as well. You can use some of the dyes throughout the year, not just autumn and winter, but you know, throughout spring and summer too. There's quite a diverse range in there. There's a lot of dyes on the show and a few stamps, so there's plenty to choose from. Just remember that as it's an American company, there is extended delivery on it, and because it's coming from the States, and it does mean that not only does the price go up once the one day special ends, which will be Wednesday at 6, that's when it ends, but also the products will actually disappear from the Hochanda website because it's extended delivery. So that will be your only chance. Just remember, with American companies and actually with a lot of European companies, whenever you see extended delivery, you need to order at the time. Now, I'm not going to be stocking Memory Box on my own website because I keep on getting hammered when I buy from the US with import duties, postal fees, VAT, etc, etc. Obviously, if you buy direct from Hochanda, you're not going to get charged any of those because Hochanda take care of that. So that's really good, especially if you're a Freedom member. Anywho, what I've done is I've done some boards so you can see how the dies cut. So I'll quickly whiz you through those and then we'll do a little demo as well. It might not be so little, but we'll see how we get on. So the actual one day special is a set of collage dies, and this is one of them. And see if I can remember all the names. This one is called Pine. In fact, I've written it on the back. Look on the back, Julia. This one's Pine Tree Collage. So you decide what shape you want the outside to be, and then it's going to cut this on the insert, which is obviously pine trees. You get a separate die, which is going to cut the foliage out for you, and it cuts an extra couple of pine tree trunks, if you like. That means that you can bring the design outside of this shape if you want to, or just use them independently on tags, etc, etc. So it's a really useful die. Then stepping into that, we've also got this one, which is your Woody Glen collage, and as you can see here, this aperture is smaller than this one, so you can actually cut this one and then cut that one and mount this one on top of that and look into it. All will be explained in the demo I'm going to do for you. You've got different shaped trunks and you've got different shaped foliage. These are all one. That's one die and that's one die, so they're all joined together. So it's a good idea, especially with these, to cut them in lots of scraps of cards. So any of your autumnal colours and pattern papers are going to be great. So that's that one. And then also you've got this one, which is the Little Orchard collage, and again you can see that aperture is stepped down. So obviously if you did this as your third level, you're going to look down into that one. And you've got 3 little leaves here. Obviously you've got 5 trunks, but you know, if they're deciduous, it doesn't mean that you've got to give them foliage if you're doing a winter scene. But obviously, again, you can cut these out, lots of different colours, and you can actually mix and match the actual foliage with the previous set as well. So those are those three. You've also got this one, which is your cabin collage, and this one you can put into perhaps that one, and also put into this one here as well. Obviously it's shaped, you can paper piece those little pieces there, no extra dye on that, just that one. And then finally, as far as I understand it, in the bundle you've got your charming snowman collage. So he's a bit of obviously a silhouette, if you like, but the waste that you get from it will make you a separate snowman as well. So that's really cool too. So that, as far as I understand it, is your 1 day special. Put these somewhere so I don't lose them. Then you've also got a load of kind of pine themed dies. Most of these are actually brand new. I haven't seen them on the Memory Box website yet. Can't remember about this one, but this is a frame, and you've got a little bit of detail just around the edges of the frame. And obviously you could cut that twice and have the foliage coming in there as well, but you don't need to necessarily do that, because you've got this one, which is your forest pine branch, so you could have that one coming into that if you wanted to, or cut off some of the pines and add them on there. So that's that. But there's also this one as well, which is your pointy pine needle sprigs. So this is going to be great if you want to do yourself a wreath, or just add more detail to either of these previous 2 dies. So that's that. I'm not sure if this is coming in a set, or if they're just they probably will be available separately as well. I have no idea on prices or any of the deals that are going to be on there. I'll find out when I get there tomorrow. So those are they. Then you've got a couple of wreaths. This one is called the Bountiful Wreath, and this is quite a chunky wreath. Could be mistletoe if you wanted it to be, but there is also the mistletoe wreath as well. And as you can see, these have got extra little dies, and these will, not exactly, but this one will sit on top of this one because this is finer. They're not exactly the same shape, so they're not actually meant to actually fit exactly. But obviously they're going to go together, especially if you cut them in different colours. You've also got, to go with the mistletoe wreath, you've got some mistletoe swags as well. So you can see those are the same shapes as those. So they're going to give you extra dimension, or you can use them on there or on some of the other dies that are coming up. And then finally, on the mistletoe theme, you've got this mistletoe bundle. They do come all joined together, so you can easily kind of bend the metal to make them sit nicely, make them separate, because you might want to cut those out of white, because that's what mistletoe berries look like. You've obviously got your bow that you can cut in a different colour, but I mean, that's a lovely debossed detail that you've got on that die there. So, but you can also use these berries on these dies too. Obviously you can put your ribbon on the bottom, of the bow on the bottom of the wreath. So there's lots of mixing and matching, so I think they're quite versatile. Then I'm quite excited about these 2 dies. This is your pinpoint snowflake background, and I have used it on my blog post today. I can't see any comments actually. Hopefully you guys are all watching. Let's have a look. Right, okay. So yes, I've never seen pinpoint in a die before. I haven't done it yet. I need to do that. I think it'd be lovely cut out of vellum, and you could perhaps wrap that around one of those electric tea light things, and that would give you a lovely effect. Or just if you just use it with card, but it does actually cut this outside edge as well, so you don't need to worry about that. And it's a good size die, this. Let's get my ruler. So once it's cut, it is 5.5 inches by 4¼ inches, and all of these dies that every single one that I'm showing you will fit in a smaller machine. You don't need your A4 machines to be cutting these, which is absolutely brilliant. Then there's also this one, which is your pinpoint snowflake. Obviously you can see they kind of coordinate nicely together, so they're going to sit on each other. This is 2 dies that you get in the set. So you can actually cut this into your card and make yourself a background. As you do your multiple cuts, you will see that your previous cuts will look a little bit lighter, but you've still got that pinpoint detail, so it's going to be absolutely fine. Obviously the outside die then would cut it out. It fits really nicely, and it seems to be symmetrical, so you don't need to worry about as snowflakes are, you don't need to worry about lining it up. So I'm very excited about these two, because I've never seen this kind of feature on a die before. If you have, let me know, and then I'll correct my thoughts, but I've never seen any of this in a die. I've only seen pinpoints and embossing folders today, so I'm really excited about those. So those are they. Then you've got some snowflake layering dies. So this one is called your Frosty Flake, and we've got 3 layers. So you've got layer A, which is your finest, B, which is a bit thicker, and C. Obviously the idea is that you put them all together and you've got a really nice effect. Again, this is on my blog post today, because all the previous 2 dies and these dies are going to work together really nicely. Obviously you don't have to use all 3, you can just use A and B, or A and C and B and C, whatever you want to. The cover photo that I've just put on my Facebook page is actually only using the C. So, you know, very, very versatile set of dies. Again, I imagine they're like that. Then we've also got your, this one's the mini snowflake frame. Again, you've got 3 layers to this. Layer A, layer B and layer C. And obviously you stack them up and you've got a beautiful die cut here. You can of course use the outside edge on all of them is the same size, so if you wanted to, you could fill in your background paper piece. It comes out in 2 pieces. This is 1 piece, that's a second piece, and so you could layer another piece in there if you want to. You can also offset them so they're staggered, so you've got like a cheeky drop shadow on that area there. Very, very versatile. I love this die as well. Then the final die, I told you there was a lot. No, it's not the final die actually. The final actual die set, there's also some stamps as well, is this one here. And this is your bird house pop-up easel set. And this has actually been on before, but we thought we'd bring it back because it's a really cool set. Lots of dies in this one. Obviously some of them do multiple cuts. You've got your, this is your easel piece. You've got your mat for your easel, and then you've also got another one, and can you see that that's got like a wood grain cut on it there? You've also got your kind of what's that called, the front bit of your, I don't know what it's called, like your tiles that can go there. But then you've also got a snowy piece that you can put on top. You've got your piece that goes in the middle there, and you've got some snow that you could put on top of there. You've got your pine sprigs, which can be used somewhere else, you know, on those wreaths that we've got, or it can go around your porthole that you've got there. I'll call it porthole. You've also got a cardinal. Obviously this is an American company, so they tend to use cardinals quite a lot. But if you just cut off that kind of whatever it's called there, that pointy bit, you can make yourself a robin. Obviously it's down to how you actually colour it. So if you colour it brown and red, you're going to get yourself a robin. Easy peasy, no problem. So that's that. And finally, there are 2 stamp sets on the show. I told you there was a lot. You've got this one, which is your berry wreath. And you get 2 dies in the set as well. I'm not sure if the stamps and the dies are available separately. So you've got, actually let's take that out of there because I've got my little label on there. So you've got your wreath, and the dies cut that out, and so they're separate dies, so you can choose to leave the middle solid if you want to. And then you've got your kind of leaf there as well. And then you've got loads of Christmassy style sentiments on that one. And then finally, you've got this one, which is your harvest, love and kindness. And these are obviously more autumnal and harvest fall type ones. Remember, it's an American company, so they use the word fall quite a lot, because they've got their what's it called, that special day they have in November? Can't remember. Anyway, so we've got, again, dies that cut out the main piece here, and you've got 2 leaf dies to go with the stamps as well, and then you've got all those sentiments as well. So that's what's on the show. A lot, heck of a lot. So I'm not going to show you my samples because I've got to save something for the show, and to be honest, I have not made very many samples because I've actually prepped a lot of demos instead. So we're going to start with a background. So we're going to be focusing on the One Day Special bundle that we've got, and this is Sentimentally Yours card. I've been using Sentimentally Yours card for most of my samples. This is the Olive Grove, and I've cut a double deboss essential rectangle out of the Olive Grove, but we're going to just run this through an embossing folder just to give it a little bit of interest, and hopefully it fits. Didn't check that. Just about fits. So we're going to run it through this. This is the classic Flourish embossing folder. Let's see if I can turn it around. Maybe it's a bit better the other way. This is an 8x8. I don't want to do it right the way up to the fold because this machine struggle. I've got my Gemini on the floor. I'll run it through there. So on the Gemini, let's just move my plate out of the way. Oh, honestly, if I put things where I won't be able to find them, I'll be struggling, won't I? Let's put that over there. Right. So on the Gemini, we want the base plate, and I'm using the Spellbinders raspberry plate. So we're just going to add a little bit of interest. Oh. Bit of work. Yeah, Thanksgiving. Thank you, ladies. I'm hopeless, aren't I? Yeah, I think I can't. I don't know if the pine bough has been on before. Actually, might have been. Yeah. So the what was I going to say? Don't know. Can't be important. So we've got this lovely emboss here. Really beautiful deep emboss. I think we're going to add a little bit more interest to it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my brayer. This is the 4-inch brayer, and I'm bringing in my brushed corduroy Distress Oxide, just because this is the brown that I've got on my desk. Give it apologies if the camera's shaking. Am I getting any ink on there? I think so. It's hard to tell on the red. And we're just going to give it a light rub over there. That's not showing up very much, is it? Right, let's go for a darker one. Let's see if I can find my walnut stain. Yes, let's go for this one instead. I don't know if it's just because it's a dark day. It is showing up, but not as much as I'd like to. See it more on my brayer now. Doesn't have to be perfect. We're just taking away the kind of plainness of the background. We could, of course, I was going to do that. I was going to dust with some Luscious powders, but I've decided to do this instead. If you wanted to dust with Luscious powders, you need to dust with your anti-static bag first. And then add Versamark, and then add your Luscious powders with a soft brush. We'll maybe use Luscious powders on the next layer. That's more interesting, isn't it? I like that. You see? Just to add a little bit of interest. Look at that emboss. Even on the deboss side, it's tremendous. These are going to actually be on, these folders, folder will be on my Sentimentally Yours show later in the week. It's a bit of a double whammy there. Let's clean this off. So that's my background. We're going for kind of an autumnal feel rather than a winter feel, I think. I don't know. We might change it as we go. Bit of clean that so I don't get the next layer dirty. Then we go on to our collage dies. Happy with that. So that's going to go onto a piece of what's that colour called? Coffee bean card. So that'll go on there and then onto almond hue. So those are my layers at the back. I've got a bunch of ovals. I thought it might be interesting to put the collages into ovals. So we're going to start with the biggest one, which is our pine tree collage. And see, this is how the dies are. So we need to figure out how we want it. My only thing is ovals are difficult to work with because even when you cut them, you don't necessarily get them the right way, but we're going to go with this. The only thing is that you need to just make sure that your trunks are pointing where you think it's upright. So let's secure that with a bit of tape, and we pop this through. I'll use my little plates for this. Now all the rest of my work can be done on a little Gemini. In fact, let's get my little Gemini. Just because it's quicker. So we'll pop this through here. I seem to be getting through so many plates at the moment, it's ridiculous. So the other die that you get, remember I showed you on the board, is this one here. So this is the one that cuts your foliage and also extra tree trunks. And I do like the way that Memory Box give you a envelope. It's a silly little thing, but it means that you don't actually have to bother with magnetic sheets if you don't want to, as long as you put everything back in the envelope. And there is on all of them a QR code. So if you're using your mobile phone, you just download a QR reader app, scan that, and then it will take you to the Memory Box page on their website, which has inspiration. Now the newer stuff doesn't have anything yet because they're not released yet, but the older stuff, like the that pop-up easel card, will have a little project for you to look at. So that's really handy. And in fact, I think you're right. There is one with the pine bough and the pine frame. So yeah, have a look at that when you get your dies home. So this is how it cuts. Be careful with your tree trunks. If you find that your die is getting a little bit hard to release, just run it through with some wax paper, and that lubricates your die. And you don't need to keep on doing it. You only need to do it once in a while, and that, like I say, that'll lubricate your die. Keep these little scraps because you can cut your extra tree trunks out of that and your foliage, so that's really handy to hang on to. So that's our first layer. And I wanted to show you this kind of separately so that you actually can know the way that I figured out how it works for me. Might not work the same way for you. You might find a better way. Let me know if you do. So next level is your Wooded Glen collage. And I've cut the next size down in my oval out of the Olive Grove card. So if I line this up roughly at the back, then you can slide in this one underneath the tree trunks, line it up where you want it to go. It doesn't have to be exact, it can be off, you can have it to the side. In fact, let's see, let's have it that way. I'm trying to think about where we're going to get the foliage behind there. Let's have it slightly to the right there. And have your bit of tape handy to secure that, and then run that through. I've already got all the foliage all cut, so remember that, I mean, you can cut them through at the same time. So in this one you've got your extra little bits for the foliage on that one. I love these envelopes. It's silly little things like that, isn't it? Right, so that can then go behind there like that. You see, we're building ourselves a scene up already. Then we've got choices. It's nice to have lots of choices. Obviously, if you go for the one day special, you'll have those choices. And I'm going to keep hold of that for my foliage, which I have already cut out. Put this back in my envelope so I don't lose it. Yesterday I spent ages looking for one of my dies, and I had it. I put it away properly, but I just couldn't see it. Now the next level, so we'll cut these and then we can look at the choices that we might want. So again, I've got the same size oval as on my, whatever the previous one was called. Right, like that. So I can put this one behind there. So line this up again. I know it looks fiddly, but it looks fiddlier than it actually is. Like that. And then we can take this next one, slide it behind the green one, if I can get in there. Here we go. This rust card is some that I've had for donkey's years. I see if Phil can get a rust, because it's really nice to have at this time of year. So let's have that one about there, and then we can cut that one. Obviously, if you've got your bigger machines, you can be cutting more than one at a time, but I do quite like being able to decide layer by layer where I want things to be. Right, so there's our third layer. So that's going to go there, that's going to go there, and that's going to go there. Okay, so we're building up our scene to look in. Then obviously at the back we've got choices. We can just put a plain piece of card if we want to, but let's just look at our options, because we might not want to use this layer. We might want to use something else, because we can. In there. Let's go for our cabin collage, which again is in the same bundle as far as I understand it. And this is, I think it's called Misty Blue. You can see it's not quite a full oval. It doesn't matter because we're hiding it. I only cut the ovals out because I'm dealing with an oval, and so I can kind of guess the sizes that are going to be behind it. Now, if I want to put this cabin right at the back of the glen, I'm going to struggle. Because if you look at the size of the die, you're going to lose that top aperture, right? Can we see? We're going to lose that top aperture. So if we just take away this level here and bring in our oval, line it up on the back. In fact, I've cut a smaller one, which is fine because it's a smaller die. Grab my cabin, slide that in at the back, and then see where we want it. Okay, that'll work there like that. Hopefully I'm straight. And we'll cut that and see what we can decide what we're going to use. Hopefully this is you're learning something from this. So, very impromptu Facebook Lives this. I thought you know, it'd be nice to do it. So here's our cabin. Now, if you're paper piecing, I suggest what you do is you put some of the Scotch low-tack tape on the back and then use your poker tool to push it in. So let's just do this. Let's pop this one back in. Sometimes it's nice to be able to have the bits to poke back in. In fact, I probably could do some for another demo. Because otherwise then you've got to cut it again just for your paper piecing bits. Give it a good push. Wait a minute. Give them a bit of a hard push to the adhesive. There's quite a few little bits, and they are quite tiny, so just beware of that. See where we're at. Got most of them. Oh, there's the other one. Right, let's pull that off. We don't need that bit. We don't need this bit here. Obviously my base bit's sticking to it as well. I've got most of the bits off, and I'm sticking to the low-tack tape. I know I'm making this look harder than it is. It's very sticky low-tack tape. That's the other window that goes in there. If I use my pickup tool, I'll be able to do this. Right. And then we've got these other bits here, so we could poke those out separately. Bit there. One more bit. Where are you? There you go. Nothing worse than losing one tiny little bit. And we've got the apex, I think it's called, this bit here. That's got to come out. There we go. So I'll put those somewhere else safe, hopefully to use another time. So here's our cabin collage. So if we wanted to use him or it with this section, we had him offset a little bit like that, and then this one would come in here and sit at the back of the glen there. Okay, that looks cool, doesn't it? So I think we might go for that, shall we, instead of the 3 layers of the trees. What do you reckon? And then we've got our background going on here. Morning, Lou, my darling. I bet you're tired, aren't you? Right, so I'm thinking I might use that. I quite like that. Or should we go for the glen? A little orchard. I mean, they both work really well, which is why they're all together. So that would go like that. Obviously, you can't see the full effect because we've not got all the foliage on, but I think we'll go for the cabin, all right? So, of course, we've got to put the little layers together. I can use that on another card. Now, that could be just a card on its own with the actual foliage bits, but we'll use that another time. Well, let's put this back so we don't lose it. So otherwise I'll be there tomorrow. Where's my cabin? Where's my cabin? Oh, it's on my desk at home. That's no use, is it? Right, so, but we want to make this a little bit more interesting. Let's move that so I don't lose it. Right, let's make the background a little bit more interesting. So remember I told you about the plate, this one. So let's have this in the background. Doesn't matter that it's going to cut a little bit. In fact, most of it will sit on there anyway. But it's just to give myself a bit of a detailed background. That's all it is. So we'll probably pinpoint the tape as well. We'll just pop it around the edge. And run that through. Oh, back of my chair's playing me up again. Start sticking our foliage on as well. Well, before that, we'll add a little bit of interest to the top layer. So, like I say, it's got a cutting edge on it, so it's cut the top off my my oval, the top and the bottom, which is fine. Look at that, isn't that cool? It's such a cool background. So when we put this together now, I know I keep on showing you bits which aren't really finished, but I just think it's just such a nice thing to do, to build this up. And then when we put our background behind it, we've got just a little bit more of an interesting background. Can you see? It's really cool, really cool. Really loving that one. That's one of my top. These are one of my top tips. The 2 pinpoint ones. They're one of my top tips. I think that they will fly out. So as I said, we're going to add a little bit more interest to this, and then we'll start adding our foliage and putting our card together. We don't need to add any interest to the background of that or the background of that, because we're not going to see it. We're only going to see this top layer here. So let's go to our stamps, and we're using the Harvest Love and Kindness, and I'm going to just use one of the leaves. I like this leaf here, which is the bigger of the two. Grab myself a block, and we're just going to stamp around the edges. I think we're going to add, though, as I said before, we're going to add a little bit of indigo blue luscious powder to it. So I'm just looking for my anti-static bag that I know I got out. Here it is. Give it a good old, and I'm doing this, I know I've got sticky there actually. Where's my adhesive eraser? I know I had it. Might not be able to remove. Ah, there it is. This is an adhesive eraser. I have got them on my website, I think, unless I've sold out. That's just where there was a little bit of Scotch low-tack tape, and that's obviously going to attract my luscious powders. So remember, they'll just stick to anything that's sticky. Right. That way. I've just grabbed my low-tack tape. I bet you I've lost a bit now. Oh, I'll put those up there now. The things that happen in Facebook Lives. Right, so we want Versamark. So this is going to give us a watermark. In fact, we do it the right way around. I'm not supposed to. I want to try and make it so that we've got different angles going on, but I do want to try not to stamp on the actual trunks themselves. And we're going off the page a little bit. Top. Okay, so there's our background. So if you just leave it like that, then you've got a lovely watermark effect. But we're going to go for the luscious. I'm not sure what colour to use though. This is verdigris. I've just got a soft brush. Let's see if they can get that to tap down. Otherwise it's going to just go as soon as I open it. I love this verdigris. Yeah, that's the colour. Look at it. So it looks brown in the tub, and it is brown when it's on white card, but we're dealing with dark card here, so it's green. Oh, look at that. That's special, isn't it? Oh, good idea, Julia. Liking this. Don't need much. Look at that. That's just lovely. That makes me happy. Really happy. Right, so that's verdigris. Luscious powder, verdigris. I think I've got it on my website. Let's just tidy this up first of all. Where's my mister bottle? There it is. So we don't get it all over the place. So you could pick this up onto rice paper or anything you like rather than waste it, or on the background, or onto die cuts. In fact, some of your die cuts that you've got for your foliage would be great to have it on. And then I've got just a cheap dry wet wipe here, and so I'm just going to carefully dust off any excess. There we go. Lovely. I'll hold that up so you can see the shimmer going on with it. You see that? It's lovely. Oh dear, little things. I am just going to give it a mist with water as well, just so that we can fix that. I mean, it's not watercolour card, but we want to make sure it's not going to go anywhere. Right, so while that's drying, let's just add our foliage to this one. So I've already got all my little bits all cut out, look. So any scraps that we've got, all Sentimental Yours card this. So some of them are from the smaller one as well. So we can perhaps have, remember these ones are going to go on the top level. So some of them cut out with like a vein in them. And then so you have when you cuts out 4, so it cuts out 2 of the top and 2 of the bottom. Oh, that's the door. I won't be a second. Sorry about that. So yes, so your die cuts out a veined and a plain of the taller ones, and then a vein and a plain of the smaller ones. And I need 6 because I've got extra trunks as well. I need 1 of each, and I've got a spare tall trunk which cuts out from the die, and a spare small trunk. So those are what I need for my front. Don't need that one. Of course you can swap them and have all of them veined if you want to. Whew, out of breath running downstairs. So unfit. So this is, I know this is from the bottom one, but that works quite nicely. I quite like the ones that are veined. Nice bright orange one. And got kind of a burgundy colour one, that's rich claret. We can have another veined one here because they're my favourites. So I think we'll perhaps have them like that. So So a little bit of glue on the back, and we can glue those in place. How long we've been going? 45 minutes. Maybe we'll finish in an hour, hopefully. Keep you guys watching for ages. Right, so now we can just add those at the back. So it's really easy to do. It's quite fun as well. Made a bit of a mess of that one. The glue will dry clear. You can, Quickie glue pen will also work because you're only gluing card to card, and it's only light, so that will work too. Make sure they're facing upwards. And there's our scene at the back. Right, so coming back to this one. Oh, my video's going. Why does it do that? We're having trouble. Because you can see me still. I can't see you when it's like this. Hang on, let me reset. Come on, Facebook. Yeah, you can see me still. I might not be able to see your comments if it plays me up. Oh, there we are. That's better. I can see you. Right, so we've got this lovely background going on, and we're going to add our foliage to this now. So let's just get some glue on the back of our pine trees. Try not to put so much on. Sometimes it's good to actually blot off the excess with the kitchen roll, so we do that. So if you just give it a blot, a quick blot, and then we can go in with our, in fact I don't need 6, I need 7. I might not have enough. Let's have a look. So I've got 1. Oh, we will. What on earth am I talking about? This is a tall one. That's going to add in there. So do your stamping before you stick your foliage on, just because it's easier to avoid stamping on the foliage, because I did do that once. And you can put a little bit of the foliage sticking out if you want to, which creates movement. We need another small one. Let's have another veined one. It's quite good if you're actually doing your dies to actually at the same time just to cut foliage. So you've got a whole bag of foliage, and then you've got a bit of choice as to what you use. This one's going on here. And like when I've cut my ovals, I've had the bits I've had left over, I've been able to cut foliage out of them and my trunks and things like that. So we're going to put let's put these together first before we stick them. Just a little bit of glue along here, and I'm using the Sentimentally Yours glue. I don't know if I mentioned that, just because that's the glue I have. And it's very good glue, obviously. Get rid of the excess. And we've got this one on a veined one. So yeah, you see, so you need, there's 5 there. You need 7 if you're going to add the extra 2 trunks. So just 2 run throughs of the die, because each time it cuts 4. That's a veined one. So I've got 2 veined ones here. No, I don't want one veined one, do I? I want a plain one. There we go. And so I'm going to add these. You can add them with little foam pads if you want to, but I'm just going to add them flat. quite a lot of pleasure of doing these actually. I've really enjoyed prepping with these. Where's my tweezers? Oh, there's a pair will do. Don't tell Phil I'm using my old tweezers. Right, so let's see, where should we have that? Let's have one there. Let's have a smaller one. No. Yes, no, yes, no. Let's have it there. Right, let's start constructing. So we don't need any of these. These are going in my bag of ones to use on other projects. And we need foam tape. Oh, this is going to be a bit of a challenge. Didn't think that through, did I? Let's get, actually, right, this is what's it called? Creative Expressions mounting cushion. This is. It's not very deep, which is fine, but I can shape it. Although on regular foam tape, I can't. You have to take both sides off in order to shape it, but it goes round corners, which is really handy in situations like this. Otherwise I'd have to cut lots and lots of little pieces of foam tape, and then that would take me ages. I think I do have some of this left on my website too. Something like $5.99 for 2 sheets. So it's not as cheap as regular foam tape, but to use every now and again, it's quite handy. And it doesn't actually stick your scissors up, which is really handy. Let's put a little bit there. And this is the boring bit, sorry. Let's put a little bit on the trees as well, so they're not floating in midair. I think it's quite good to see all this constructed, because it can be, oh, how on earth do you do that when you see things like this? But it is actually fairly straightforward, and I think if you use the difference to decide where you want them, I think that helps too. Put that there. That's not going to stick. That's fine. And then, so this one, we can do it 2 ways. We can actually pop it on this way, like that. Or what I'm going to do is I'm going to do it from the front so I can see exactly where it comes. Because I might want to change my mind how it sits. Because I've obviously got my trees there and I want to be able to see the different colours. I might want to have it further up, like that. Oh, what's wrong with Facebook at the moment? It does, yeah, and Charlie Evans, yeah, it does look good, however you have it. Right, so there's that, and then we're going to add that one. See, I've actually changed where I've put things. Now, if you find that you've overdone it there, you can just use your scissors to snip it back further, but I've just about got away with that. So now let's add our layer here. Let's see, still there, good. And let's put another layer here. Around the corner. Hi to everyone who's just joined. I see we've gone up in numbers, which is nice to see. Let's put a little bit down here so it's not flailing in the wind. and then we'll add a little bit to our foliage, so again it's at the same height. We are nearly done, amazingly. There's quite a lot of kind of work in just setting it all up, but not, sometimes things take longer when you have to think about it. You don't have to think about this too hard. We'll use that a little bit as well. So let's just glue these together as well, just before we stick this layer on. So I'm not going to do anything special with this layer. You could add, if you're doing a snowy scene, you could add a bit of snow to the house if you want to, a bit of glitter. Get your Sakura pens or your Poscas or whatever paint pens you've got out and use those. Let's add, so it doesn't pop up, let's add a little bit of Quicker Glue to these bits here, because these bits are really quite fine. And it's fine to do this because we're only going card to card. It's not kind of a weight bearing part of your card. It stops it flying around. A little bit up there, a little bit here. You can keep on going forever, couldn't you? Right, let's put this on our background. Remember our pinpoint snowflake. You can look, I didn't actually cut that straight, did I? Because your oval's up there and it's on the wonk a bit, but it doesn't matter because it's at the back and it's a much smaller oval. It's just to get the idea of it. Right, so then this is going on here. Let's see. Look how that's come together just by adding that layer there. It's cool, isn't it? Right. So it looks quite a mess there, but that doesn't matter. We'll be fine. Where's my background? Right, let's get these layers stuck together as well. Let's just move my foliage out of the way so I can use it on another project. Right, we'll just glue this layer to the next layer. And this is, in case you're wondering, this is the largest of the double debossed essential rectangles. I've got some more of these coming in tomorrow. They're being picked up from Phil today. So all the dies that I'm currently out of stock of from Sentimentally Yours are due in tomorrow, except for the rounded corner rectangles and squares. They're not in stock at the moment. So this, remember, this is the classic Flourish embossing folder that we've used from Sentimentally Yours, and we've used Olive Grove card, and we have brayered walnut stain Distress Oxide over the top. Just need to see if I can get that flat. Give it a press on the back. Make sure it's adhered properly. I don't like kinky card. I want it nice and flat. And I'm going to add this layer with Woodware 2mm foam tape. So don't need to use the expensive stuff on this because this is straight. These are just £1 a roll. 2 meters. Okay. Good foam tape this. I've used this for years. These scissors, these are actually from Oakwood Archer. These are from Hochanda, and every now and again you'll see them on 7-day savers reduced. So I think I've got spare pairs just in case, and I think the last lot was something like a tenner for these and these together. So yeah, great value. So watch out for those. See, I do buy from Hochanda as well. I'm a Freedom member, just in case there's something I want to buy, which can be quite dangerous, as it usually is. Right, let's pop this on my almond hue card, which we're still waiting to come back in stock. I haven't actually stuck that very straight, have I? That's just tough now, isn't it? And this is going on here, but what I'm going to do is just give it... Oh, I need to give it glue anyway. So I'm not putting extra tape on here. Giving it glue. Bit disappointed that's not straight. Don't look too closely. That's further apart. That should have gone up a bit. I think it probably moved when I turned it over. That's going to be my excuse anyway. That's going on there. Those backgrounds look fab together, don't they? Really fab. So we just need to finish this off with a sentiment. If I've left enough room, have I? So we could have a sentiment. Where shall I put the sentiment? I don't know if there's room for a sentiment actually, unless we move that up a bit. Let's move that up a bit, because just because it's an oval, it doesn't have to sit bang in the middle. I have to make sure my house is up the right way. We can get a sentiment in down there now. Yay! Right. Where's my berry wreath? There we go. Here's my berry wreath sunset. And I really like the warmest wishes, because warmest wishes could be Christmas, or it could be just, you know, cold time of year kind of thing. So I think I can just get one of those on here, and we'll use Pinecone VersaFine Clear. Shall I? No, I'm not going to use VersaFine Clear because it takes ages to dry. What did I do with my archivals? I had them. I know they're here somewhere. What did I do with them? Hang on a minute. Talk amongst yourselves. Probably have to grab another one if I can't find them. How can I not find my archive? Honestly, I drive myself nuts, absolutely nuts, because I can't find anything in this room. It's an absolute nightmare. Got too much stuff. Right. Oh, no, that's not. Those are distress. You know, I'll find them when I'm not on air, won't I? That's the thing. Right, let's go for another one. I wanted my distress archival, but we're going to use coffee archival instead. Hopefully this is nice and juicy. I'm using archival because I know that my VersaFine Clear will smudge because it won't dry quick enough. Warmest wishes. There we go. Beautiful. That's worked a treat. Right, so how should we do this then? Let's see. I'm not very good at cutting flags, so I think what we'll do is we'll just trim that. And we'll grab our walnut stain that we used on the back. Just add a little bit of that around the edge. And I've still smudged it. Oh dear. I can fix that. I'll fix that afterwards. No, I'll fix it now. Water brush. See if I can fix it or make it worse. It's going to be one or the other, isn't it? Water brush. Okay, that works for me. Fixed. And we'll pop that on a little bit of foam tape, which I'll put somewhere. Here it is. And I'd probably just add maybe a pearl in the corner. Wonder if I could hide that. It's really bugging me that it's not straight. Really bugging me. No, it looks better there. Okay. So there we go. There's our card. Obviously, I could mat and lay that if I want to, but we're not going to go and do that now. So, really easy to do. Obviously, a little bit time consuming, but it's worth it. I think it's a little bit different. So join me for the Memory Box One Day Special. That's launching on Hochanda tomorrow at 6 o'clock. So the shows are at 6 and 8 tomorrow, and they are on Freeview. And then on Wednesday they're at 8 a.m, 12 noon, and 4 p.m. as well. Thank you for joining me. I will upload this to YouTube later on, so it will always be there. But if you will need to rewatch, if you missed the beginning or you want to rewatch at all, then just go to the videos section on my Facebook page, and you'll be able to watch it again when you get your dies. So thanks very much for joining me, and I will see you soon. Bye.